Good morning, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. Happy early Tuesday news day. We got breaking news here at WrestlingInc.com. It is me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here by nobody. It's me solo right now. We got huge breaking news. Just wanted to do a kind of breakdown for everybody about what's going on with the Cody Rhodes situation. I'm going to be back here on all of Wrestling Inc. social media channels, 5 p.m. Eastern like normal. All of that audio is going to be out over on the Wrestling Inc. Daily podcast feed. This is going to be a bonus bit of video for all of you Wrestling Inc. YouTube fans, of which you got to subscribe. And, of course, if you join in later or whatever, we're going to have the full audio of what I'm about to talk about here also on the Wrestling Inc. Daily podcast feed. 2 podcasts today, 2 videos from me, Wrestling Inc. managing editor Nick Hausman, talking about the day of the news of the day. Man, wow. A little twisted here. Good thing I got a little bit of coffee here. Just like usual, when we do these live feeds, if you want to jump in, you want to talk about what's going on here, which is Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, please dive in wherever you're at. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, all of those great things. Jump in, leave your comments. I want to get a little conversation going on here for the next little while because we are going to be talking all things Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, maybe going back to WWE. That is the news of the moment. I'm at Nick_Hausman. We're at Wrestling Inc. Give us a follow, support us, all those wonderful things. You're letting a couple people build up in here right now, building that anticipation. Man, before we kind of dig into the news here, and I got the whole timeline pulled up and all the statements and everything, and we're going to get into all of that. So if you're sitting at your cubicle right now, pretending like you're working, and your boss doesn't know you're instead watching or listening to this, you know what? We're going to keep your attention. We're going to have a little fun here to get your midday, mid-daily dose of pro wrestling on. So anyway, the reason I think this is so interesting, of course, if you listen to the Wrestling Inc. Daily, which you should, if you don't already, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or catch us here in video form on all of wrestling's platforms, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. If you listen to that particular program, of which I host, wonderful co-host, then I've been saying all month that there is a very good chance, in my opinion, that Cody is leaving AEW back for WWE. I was even so optimistic as to predict maybe Cody showing up in the Royal Rumble. That's how I'm feeling it right now. Now, the reason I've been feeling it is like a lot of other pundits. I'm not the only one. Keller, Meltzer, Cassidy Haynes, Fightful, right? There's been little simmerings of it, right? That there's certain people in the AEW locker room that maybe no longer saw eye to eye with Cody and Brandy. I'm not saying everybody, right? But there was an interesting attitude, I feel like, in the locker room with Cody and Brandy. Now, still in a tenured leadership position, still a lot invested in here, right? But like I again have been saying, Cody has done everything and more that Vince McMahon looks to and people he can invest in, right? Cody got upset with what Vince was doing. He puffed his chest out. He went out on his own. He proved his worth. He grew his worth, maybe grew his worth too much because it sprawled into creating a professional wrestling company, which I don't really know that Vince really thought should happen, right? Maybe he regrets the Stardust stuff a little long as he did, but whatever. Cody is now a more valuable commodity to Vince now on the other side of his journey to Vince. And Cody works a style that a lot of other AEW talent do not work. I'm not saying either style is bad, but Cody glaringly works a big match WWE style, right? He goes out there and he works a little bit slower, more methodically, old school, whatever you want to call it. It's not quite the same pace or rhythm as other matches that you're going to see in AEW, right? And, I get shades of what happened with Ronda Rousey with Cody, because Ronda really, really wanted to have the fans like her in her last WWE run. And when they just weren't there for her, it seemed to affect her work, right? And even as she's coming back now, we're hearing, about how they're having to kind of warm her back up to being a baby face, and she seems to be doing all the right things. And, look, her Mania program looks like it's going to be a big draw. I think with Cody, I don't know that the AEW fan reaction to what he's been trying to put out as a babyface recently, maybe matches up, right? And, that happens, right? Maybe it's just, you just don't feel a space anymore, right? It just doesn't feel like a good fit. He knows what to expect on the other side of the pond with WWE. He knows how much money he can make, a legacy to build there still. And look, we're in WrestleMania season. It is no secret that this company, WWE, is desperately trying to put together some big money matches that are going to sell over 100,000 tickets. What is it, like 200,000, 100,000 a night? Is it 200,000 tickets? I don't know. Somebody can correct me in the chat room. A lot of tickets, okay? So a Cody match with virtually, like anybody. Ciampa was rolling around on Monday Night Raw this past week. I was like, hell, put Ciampa in there with Cody Rhodes. Why not? That's got something to it. What doesn't? It's Cody versus WWE, back to WWE. I don't know. Whatever. You go a lot of directions with it. So anyway, I'll do a quick run through of some of the comments here. And then we're going to dive into the news. Then we'll do a couple more comments. And then I'm going to wrap it, go back to work. And if we're going to talk about this more, 5 p.m. Eastern here on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel and Twitch and all the other channels. So let's see. A couple comments here. Let's see. We have Eddie Zamhari, 99. Do you think Cody could pursue another interest other than wrestling? Maybe acting or political? Maybe he comes back as dashing Cody Rhodes. I think there's too much money in Cody going back to WWE. I think he knows it, and I think he's probably going to be taking that deal, would be my guess. Let's see. Ian Vish, wasn't Cody part of a key management of AEW, like a founding member? Yeah, he was. That's correct. And let's see. Radio Rob 123. Oh no, this is just going to be an entire broadcast of Nick bragging, isn't it? Maybe this cast, and it might roll over into the Wink Daily this afternoon. Good possibility. All right, and with that, last thing here from Low Vision Tech before we get to the news. What's up, Nick? I'm very interested in why Cody left AEW. Wasn't him and Brandy part of management? Yes, they were. To reiterate that point, yes, founding members and in management. So let's get into what actually happened here, finally. All right. So on the latest edition, or we'll start from yesterday where the news kind of began here. So Wrestling Observer Radio, they're saying Cody hadn't been under any kind of contract with AEW since December. It was initially believed he was going to be re-signing. Then his status went up in the air, which really isn't new news here, other than the fact that they included that there had been talk backstage at Raw this week in regards to him possibly returning to WWE. There was chatter within certain circles about the potential of him going back to the company. And of course, Cody is a founding member of AEW, right? So the timeline here is interesting because initially when Cody won the TNT title, and he had that weird exchange with Sammy Guevara, if you remember, and he was like, best of luck out there, kid, in the title match and all that. Then he's set to, you would think, go on to be the TNT champion. There was something like a family issue with COVID that kept him off TV for 2 weeks, which is subsequently when he was supposed to be in person signing his contract. So he had a little more time to think than usual while he was not under contract. That'll be a story that'll be a chapter in its own book later on. And, then he comes back working on the handshake deal. You got the title. You got to figure out a way to, unify the titles, go out on good terms. Why not nearly kill yourself in a ladder match, unify those titles, put over Sammy Guevara, impassioned speech, blah, blah, blah. A little more confused about why Brandy was allowed to go out and do the Dan Lambert stuff, but neither here nor there for the moment. We'll try to focus on Cody. So that's where it starts. Then Cody releases a lengthy statement at 10 o'clock. What was it? 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central this morning. Let me take a sip of water real fast. Statement reads, I'll read it in full. I have loved my time at AEW. Amazing locker room, amazing fans, amazing people. The Revolution was indeed televised, and I've been incredibly lucky to be part of that. First, I want to thank Tony Khan. He's taken the baton and run with it, and it was an honor to work for him and to know him on a personal level. He's a beautiful soul. Obviously, need to thank my incredible wife and the mother of my baby girl, Brandy, for all her love and support throughout this journey together and the amazing relationship she fostered with Culture City and the American Heart Association. I also need to thank Nick and Matt Jackson. These two, whether they know it or not, took an undesired and not confident little cub and gifted me the confidence to become a leader of the pack. Kenneth Omega, Chris Jericho, Chicken. We started the fire. I must thank Tim W., Keith M., Greg W., and the amazing production crew who understood and captured the vision with such grace. I can't name everybody, but thank you to Mega, Margaret, Harrington, Jeff Jones, Dana, Tony Schiavone, Byrne, Raff, and the hardest worker in the game, QT Marshall, for propping me up and kicking me in the ass when I was running on fumes. I got to thank all the kids, MJF, Jade, a lot of names. Also need to take a moment to thank the great partners at Warner Media, including Brett, Sam, the rest of the team. I have so many milestones and beautiful memories of this renaissance through sweat, blood, tears, literal fire, and all that. I left it all on the mat. Everything pales in comparison to the final contributions. I was empowered to lead the company, the community outreach team. In the most inward moments, your outward behavior and your ability to take fame, influence, and do something of value for your community, for the communities you visit, whether the cameras are on or off, is the highest honor. I am confident Amanda Huber will lead the department with style. I'm so proud of my creations and contributions and the items I supported or collaborated on with such wonderful professionals. Then Tony Khan releases his statement saying, Cody and Brandi Rhodes were integral to the launch of All Elite Wrestling. Cody's ability, combined with his boldness and his passion for our industry and his love for community outreach, helped AEW deliver on our mission to give fans what they needed for far too long. Something new, innovative, and lasting. Brandi helped us shape the AEW story, and I appreciate how hard she fought for us both in the ring and out of the ring, competing in the women's division while advancing our efforts at inclusion and civic causes, including great partnerships with Culture City and the American Heart Association. I have immense respect and appreciation for Cody and Brandi. I wish them both the best as they move on from AEW. Thank you, Cody and Brandi. Tony Khan, CEO, President, General Manager, Head of Creative, All Elite Wrestling. Very grandiose title Tony has there. All right. Lastly here, then we're going to dive back to the comment section, of which I see there is a lot of comments here. So, feel free to bring them in. I'm going to dive back into the mailbag here in just a minute, and then we're going to wrap up in a couple minutes. So, again, I can go back to work. But if you missed any of this, subscribe to the Wrestling Inc. Daily. I'm going to put out an emergency podcast release in the feed. You get the full audio there. Of course, video replay will be available right after this. So, according to Ariel Helwani, it has been revealed that Cody is, in fact, in talks with WWE. He's been speaking with the company, and a return could be taking place in the near future. Cody originally left WWE in 2016 after spending a decade working for Vince. Of course, that's the last update we have right now. There is some stuff from Fightful we're going to have up on the site here very soon about how Cody was looking for a big money deal from AEW, didn't seem to get it, and it sounds like WWE was at least aware Cody was going to put out his statement at 10 a.m. Eastern this morning, 9 a.m. Central. It is now officially 2 hours later since that statement has been put out, and I am about to wrap this emergency podcast to talk all about it. Obviously, the road to WrestleMania just got a lot more interesting. What does this mean for Revolution? Does this free up more funds for Tony to sign more big names with Cody no longer around? What happens to the Nightmare Express? Can it handle the WWE tour schedule? And what of poor Pharaoh? All right, I'll read a couple things here. We have Philip Campbell. It doesn't feel right for Cody and Brandi Rhodes to leave AEW. Depends on how you look at it. See, I feel like I've been looking at this situation very differently than casual fans because none of this really surprises me. There are other names, maybe I'll talk later about on the daily that I also would not be surprised to leave the company here. That would surprise casual fans just based off things I've heard, right? Because I go to all these events. I've been to every major AEW event ever, period, and have participated in every media scrum they've ever done. I engage this talent. I engage people in their backstage. I engage their very loyal fans. None of this really surprises me, right? And I hope that, and for the AEW loyals, I don't dislike Cody. Obviously, he's kind of his own character, but man, I see him perfectly fitting in the world of WWE right now, and I think everybody should give them go into this with an open mind. when you see Cody kind of represent himself to the WWE. We have, let's see here. Christopher Stike Leather. It be something with the Dusty Cup finals happening tonight if Cody showed up on NXT. Wow, Chris, that just blew my mind. It's live tonight, right? Yeah, they're not going to Saudi, so they're in house. I guess it could happen. Could Cody Rhodes present the Dusty Rhodes Cup finals to MSK or the Creed brothers? Wow. Huh. That's a really cool thought, Chris. I almost want to end on that, but I feel like I should read a couple more. We have from Low Vision Tech, how many AEW wrestlers do you think will be in WWE by the end of the year? Good question. I'm going to say 4. That's my number here. At least 4. I don't know that, because not everybody that's going to be leaving AEW contracts is going to be people WWE wants. I mean, you look at ROH going under. I not tooting my own horn here. Where's my giant? Do I have my giant kazoo here around? I don't. I have my little laser gun though. But when ROH went under, it was like, this entire roster WWE is likely going to pass on, with the exception of one person, Roxy, who it does look like is under contract. So you take it in, and Ring of Honor was great, in my opinion. I really enjoyed Ring of Honor the past couple of years. The talent pool was great. Really enjoyed all the characters, but it's not Vince's vibe, right? Same thing with the AEW talent. So I don't know. I mean, does a Janela work in NXT? Maybe, kind of. I'm not going to say no to that. So, we'll see. Anything else I want to read here? Michael Thomas Banshits, Cody versus question. Cody versus head of the table. That's the only thing that would interest me. Yeah. I don't know if he gets inserted like into Mania, into the Brock Roman stuff, but certainly on the other side of it. Or maybe he does. I mean, Cody brings a whole dynamic to whatever he's involved in right now. Does he take out somebody before the Chamber? Does he go to Saudi? Maybe. I don't know. Could happen. So I think the Dusty Cup thing, though, that's a good observation there, Chris. I'll be keeping my eyes open for that tonight. All right. Hey, I got to get back to work. I want to thank everybody for diving in here right now. Wonderful talk. I'll be back at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Wrestling Inc. Daily. We're going to talk more news of the day. I'm going to have Second City Chicago main stage cast member EJ Cameron co-hosting with me. We're going to have a big surprise interview that we're going to roll out this afternoon as well that I think you guys are really, really going to like. That's going to be over on YouTube, the Wrestling Inc. Daily podcast feeds as well. I'm at Nick_Hausman. Thank you so much for tuning into this emergency podcast. I will talk to you in 6 hours. And remember, if you winked, you definitely did not miss it.